Welcome everyone to South Dundas' first ever ceremony on this National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. We would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of the lands we are on today and the traditional territory of the Mohawk peoples. During this ceremony, I encourage us all to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. I would like to welcome, a warm welcome, to Mohawk Council of Akwesasne Chief Tim Thompson. Thanks, Chief.
So, Yawa, thank you for inviting us today to share the words for the National Truth and Reconciliation. This marks the first year that Canada created the Federal Day of Remembrance to honor the survivors of residential schools, as well as those who did not make it home. However, for our people, we are reminded that loss on a daily basis. As we stand here, I want to acknowledge that just the fact that my Indigenous brothers and sisters are able to attend events like this today is evidence of the strength and resilience of our people. Although we are encouraged that Canada has begun to acknowledge and commemorate our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles, brothers and sisters, we know that there's still so much work that needs to be done. We encourage individuals from outside our Indigenous communities to use today as an opportunity to learn more about the traumas that were forced upon our people in an effort to eradicate us, and also to reflect on what you can do to help in the journey of reconciliation. Today, every day, as more mass graves are identified and more lost children are found, our people in our communities mourn when our elders speak of atrocities that were committed against them. It brings us all pain, but we are fighters, we persevere, and we use this anguish to continue the fight for our children, our grandchildren, and those who have come before us. But although this day brings us sadness, it also brings us pride. Every time we see one of our youth speaking our language, attending the ceremonies, practicing our culture, dancing to our songs, we are proud that although they tried to get rid of us, we are still here and we are flourishing. Today may make some people uncomfortable. It is difficult to hear the horrific and incomprehensible stories of these traumas. But every day, and especially today, we need to share these stories to speak the truth. So I encourage you all to reflect, to listen, and to learn our truth, and to ensure that history never repeats itself. On behalf of the Mohawk Council, those are our words for today, and we thank you for hosting us today. At this time, I'd like to call upon my two chiefs, Chiefs Vanessa and Julie. As we talk about the education, we'd like to present the mayor with some books that can be put in your office to start the process of learning. With that, thank you, Nyawa.
Perfect. I can't multitask.
That's why you had us.
Before I start, I'd really like to acknowledge that Chief Thompson, Chief Vanessa, and Chief Julie have taken time out to come and celebrate. Maybe not be the good word, the right word, but to be here to recognize the day of National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. I think it means a lot to we as Canadians, and I certainly hope that this is a small start on the path to you. Thank you for your words, Chief Thompson. On behalf of our council, staff, and the municipality, thank you for joining us today. Our relationship with the Mohawk people's Akwesasne is important to us, and we hope this relationship will grow as we move forward. Marking today as National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is important to Canada's history and the way we move forward to ensure a better future for Canada's Indigenous peoples. It is all our responsibilities to educate ourselves and to hear the stories from the survivors of the residential schools. Chief Thompson is right to say that it may make us uncomfortable to learn of such a tragedy, but it is important that we do so. We cannot change the past, but we can learn from our mistakes by recognizing the pain and heartache that was caused and is still felt today. The past can teach us and guide us to be better. It's time for us to move forward together toward a brighter future, and I hope each of you will take some time to listen, read, and watch the stories that have been shared before and that are shared across the country today. It is our duty to not only our Indigenous neighbors, but to ourselves. Please join me in a minute of reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and to consider how each of us can try to move forward in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Thank you. Before we raise the flag, I'd like to say a few more words. First of all, I'd like to really appreciate, again, the efforts of Chief Tim and Chief Vanessa and Chief Julie for being here. I think I'm honored with their presence here in South Dundas today. We all know the stories of what has come out in full field view this year of the unmarked graves at the residential schools. I was actually in BC this summer. Debbie and I had an opportunity to do a trip, and we overnighted at Kamloops. And knowing that the residential school where this story started was there, we didn't really have an opportunity to seek it out. However, on our way back to our train that morning, the bus driver pointed it out, and it was very touching, even if it was 500 meters away, that we went by a school that we did not treat children as they should have been. And it's very unfortunate, but it was very touching at the same time. And something else I'd like to leave you with is that, some people will say that, yes, children died in those days, and I'm not going to deny that, but children don't get buried in their schoolyards. They should have been brought home to their families. So hopefully they will get that opportunity to do so if they can now. So thank you all for being here. If Council and Chief Thompson can gather, we will raise the orange flag together and let it fly as a symbol of our respect and solidarity with our Indigenous community.